For Creamer Media's Polity Mtabi Madiba, Activate Change Drivers Activator Mzwandile Msimang joins me to discuss Heroes, a celebration of a network. Tell us about the aims of NPO Activate Change Drivers and its impact on the youth of our country.
Okay, sure. So Activate, our intention is to create an unlikely network of young people driving change across the country. By unlikely, we mean young people from different political parties, young people from different backgrounds. Some possess PhDs, some possess just a matric, others are unemployed, from rural areas, from urban areas, basically coming together to drive change. So our aim is bringing together this change drivers, we call them, from their own areas, and then we equip them with various skills in order for them to then efficiently and effectively be able to carry out the task that they feel within themselves to drive change in South Africa.
Briefly talk to us about the different programs run by the initiative.
So as an organization, Activate Change Drivers, we have 5 pillars, which are equip, connect, and inspire, provoke, influence. So what we are doing in essence is equipping young people with a set of skills to drive meaningful impact. So we have 3 programs. One is a social entrepreneurship program. We have a flagship program, which is the Activate Change Drivers program. We have a program called Community Development Certificate course, which is accredited at NQF level 5. And then what we do is we connect young people to each other, connect them to resources, connect them to opportunities, and more so technical aspects and thought leaders as well. And then we try and inspire young people through stories of activators in terms of the work that they are doing. So you find that most instances you find the story about young people is always, or the narrative around young people is young people a ticking time bomb. So we try and showcase the good work that young people are doing in order for activators to inspire one another and other young people across the country. And then we have Provoke, which is a platform that deals with creating opportunities for dialogue, more on pertinent issues that affect young people, where we're asking what can the young people do with the challenges that they're being faced. Because in most instances you find decisions are being taken for young people, but the majority of the people in the country are young people without being considered in terms of how the policies affect them, etc. And then lastly is influence. So there we're speaking, how can young people use their influence and their energies as patriotic citizens, more so to create a social, a political, and an economic force.
Mzwandile, talk to us about your experience as an activator and what you have achieved throughout the initiative.
So I joined Activate as an activator, being trained in 2013. So it has been a wonderful opportunity. At the time I was not working for Activate, now I work for Activate. So at the time I joined Activate, we graduated in 2013 of December, and I formed a company with an activator in 2013 December, and our company was featured on Morning Live in January 2013, and based on the impact that we're doing using our own organization. And that platform was created basically by Activate. So that's the impact it has had. I've had an opportunity to meet and work with amazing young people. We've created a program called Seed Fund, where we're noticing that no organizations were willing to fund us. So we as activators were contributing 100 Rand a year and then sharing that amongst ourselves. It worked really well. So the opportunities for learning more so is what I've gained from Activate.
The book profiles some of 3.4 youth activators that have taken part in their leadership program. Can you explain to us more on what message the book is trying to get across?
Sure. So we publish a few books per year, but the current book is called Heroes. So the message we're trying to get across is showcasing the stories of activators. So ours is to inspire other young people, one, to see themselves just like activators. So we're not, people normally look at a hero as a superhero, like wearing capes, but we are showcasing ordinary heroes, everyday heroes, whom are young people who are also being faced with the same challenges other young people are facing, who are also unemployed, who are also facing issues around HIV and AIDS, gender-based violence, but who are choosing to be part of the solution and not necessarily complain about it. So these are young people who are saying nothing for us without us. So they are crafting solutions, they are holding government to account. They are not only holding government to account, but they're holding other young people to account. They are them themselves becoming then heroes, not because they possess special powers, but because they are like, people generally would say, I've seen something and I've seen something wrong, and I was looking for someone to do something about it. But in effect, you find that someone is you. So now activators are actually going around and doing something. They are realizing that they are the heroes. So through this book, we're generally telling their stories and showcasing to other young people that you, as a young person, can be a change driver, right, with limited resources.
Please explain to us, in what way does one become an active citizen?
So there are various ways. I mean, the first one, I guess, stems from being patriotic. So as an example would be, if we are in a taxi from Sentin or wherever, posh suburb, and then you are drinking your Coke in the vehicle, and then it says, welcome to Soweto, welcome to Tsakane, welcome to Kwamashu. You open the window and then you start throwing that Coke can outside. Then it means your mindset is not respecting the area in which you live, but you're respecting other areas. So one, it has to be being patriotic and loving of where you're from, right? Then two is understanding your area of concern and area of influence. So from our side is, where can you play your role? And sometimes it begins with you. So at Activate, we firstly do personal leadership. Before you can lead others, you need to lead yourself. And then once you as an individual are a example or a role model for others, then you are an active citizen because you are moving towards good. Then two, you can then act in your own space, in your own family, in your own street. Then it becomes, your influence moves from local, ward level, provincial level, etc. But more so, the main focus of being an active citizen is also getting to understand policies that govern our country. We at Activate say, you might not be interested in politics, but politics is interested in you. So understanding issues like your IDP, your integrated development plan, your role as a young person when it comes to voting and beyond the ballots. I mean, the president today is going to deliver the state of the nation. As Activate, we have what we call the state of the youth, where we understand what young people are doing, what are their challenges, and what role can they play. So to be an active citizen, in essence, is to develop yourself and to develop your family and to develop your community.
Since 1994, many young people remained as troubled as ever with crime, poverty, unequal educational opportunities, employment, and drug abuse. What more do you think the government should do to address these issues?
So it's been 23 years or so. So it's a challenge for governments because they have competing priorities. But to address the challenge around young people, one, they should just be efficient. So we have great policies, but I guess the challenge is on the implementation. Corruption has been one of the biggest challenge. So if you're looking at the money wasted through fruitless expenditure, we could have funded free education a long time ago, but more so, do not only focus on higher education, because about 15% of our population gets to access higher institutions of higher learning. So we need to invest a lot on primary education because that's where the need is mostly needed. So it's great that the president in his previous SONA mentioned that we're going to get compulsory 2 years early childhood development, which is really great. And then two, employment. So young people have talent, young people have skills. We have over 300,000 unemployed graduates. So how do we ensure that youth economic participation becomes a core? Because some of these challenges we're facing, from the prevalence of HIV and AIDS, unwanted pregnancy, gender-based violence, it stems from the lack of young people participating meaningfully in the economy. So if we are able to get young people employed, get young people being active in areas of their passions. So it's fine and well to have an extended public works program, but it does not speak to the talents of the young people. So hence you will have young people using drugs nowadays. So for us, it becomes government needs to bring young people and co-create programs with them. So they shouldn't sit there on their own and devise programs. And luckily enough, in some instances, we do, as Activators, work with government like the Department of Health, where we share insights from young people to say, young people are saying this is not working because of 1, 2, 3, 4. And where they do listen, we've had some great strides.
After the May 8th national and provincial elections proved a number of young people, including First, made it to Parliament. What is your take on this development?
So it's great that you have young people in Parliament. When we sometimes think of youth, we think of age, but I think everyone should now be agreeable that youth means coming up with new ideas, thinking innovatively, thinking differently. So we hope that the fullest generation in Parliament will be able to still remain youthful in coming up with new ideas, challenging the status quo, because we understand that the systems have been built for years. They've been existing. Even people who were, as an example, when the EFF was going to Parliament, they were like, no, everyone must bring their own scarf-tin to Parliament, and they didn't want to eat. But eventually they are now eating in Parliament, right? So we need young people whom do not just sit there because they are young. It's not because of age, right? So, and for the older generation as well, not to fear young people, because I think, or it's the notion that when they look back and they realize what they did when they were young, right? I guess they're afraid of us as young people coming to topple the new ways. So they must just bring us with, let us work together. We're not there to remove everything that doesn't work, but we are there to basically find what's working, and in essence saying, let's keep some of the old that is working and introduce new things that will truly bring a revolution in terms of the economics of our country. Not just slogans about land, but understanding what problems we as the people want to get. And also they should not forget, not for one day, the ordinary young people that are there, right? Once you start getting your benefits as a member of Parliament, you then sort of are distanced in some way from the day-to-day struggles of the young people, because when they were students, they were feeling the real struggles. So we hope now that when they're in Parliament, they're able to represent the genuine needs of young people.
And lastly, earlier this month, a Forest High School pupil died after being attacked by a fellow pupil. What do you think can be done to curb the problem of school violence?
So the challenge is that we as a country believe in the schooling system as the only way through which we impart values, through which where education is acquired. So then the challenge is that we will only see the problem only in the school, but kids are killing each other outside of school. There's lots and lots of examples. So how we need to curb violence is us as a country from home, like as we're trying to do as Activate. One is self-leadership. If at individual level we're able to account to ourselves, right? Make the right decisions for ourselves, because no policy, no intervention by government, no program is gonna say stop this when you as an individual are making that decision. So from anyone, you must start with the self, and then two, in your own household. If us are able to, in a family, say, my brother, my sister, you should do this, this is good, this is wrong, this is right. And then if there's a child-headed household, they are your neighbor, right? You then start from there. And then such things were not going to be such a challenge, right? Because our value system is now way too individualistic for one. So it's me and my family, as long my child is doing well, as long this and this and the other, without the realization that we are creating a very, very dangerous society of people who will then have nothing to lose. So if you don't have anything to lose, then those are the challenges. It's easy to attack someone else. It's easy. But we need to create a system where all of us are benefiting, where if we'll say umuntu ngomuntu ngabantu, right? But it shouldn't be a slogan. It shouldn't be a thing we only say, but it should be a lived experience.
That was Activator Mzwandile Msimang speaking to Creamer Media's Polity about Heroes, a celebration of a network.